Welcome to the Elevate and Dominate podcast, where we dive deep into the world of dominance and submission, kink, and everything BDSM. I'm Goddess Aroya, here to challenge the myths, break down taboos, and empower you in your journey.
And I'm Mistress Odessa. We're here to educate, inform, and explore the truths of power exchange, consent, and the psychology behind kink. Because knowledge is the key to safe, fulfilling play.
And this is Orpheus Black. This isn't about play. It's about connection, growth, and understanding the deeper layers of dominance and submission. So whether you're a seasoned player or just beginning your journey, this is for you.
Let's elevate the conversation
And dominate the narrative.
Welcome to Elevate and Dommenate.
Greetings, lovely listeners.
Welcome back to another episode of the Elevate and Dominate podcast, the place where we dive into passion, power, and the authentic areas of dominance and submission. I am your host, Goddess Aroya, and I have my two wonderful co-hosts with me, Mistress Odessa and I always expect y'all to say
You
something.
forgot our names? I can't believe it.
I expect you to go hi or hey or something, you know? Like,
You were like,
no,
host,
how
and
could I
you're
forget
like,
your name?
"Oh."
Serious.
You forgot my name. You forgot my name.
What'd you say?
You forgot my name.
Of course I did. I did. I truly forgot your name. We are tonight going to be exploring seduction, power, and the fantasy through the lens of an iconic, very iconic in person that I've been looking at for so very long, a person in the fetish world whose commanding presence for over 25 years and she has been trained under
It's the Terrell Institute in New York
Terrell
City.
Institute.
But then,
Yeah.
but then also Tara and Deanna, and that was the Den of Iniquity.
You are the pioneer in content creation, a master of the Giantess fantasy, wrestling, and BDSM, and you continue to reign as the Amazon goddess, combining power, empathy, and immersive play like no one else. Today, we are looking into the journey of Goddess Severa. Thank you for
Thanks
being
for
here.
having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes. And you know what? I really think that it would be really smart for us to start with Orpheus because he's really, we often talk about archetypes and how they shape your style of dominance. So I thought it would be great to kind of open up with you on the floor. I'm gonna turn it over to you.
Be on the
Orpheus.
floor. What did I do? What did I do to you?
He gets shy at the beginning.
I'm a little shy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I know.
we
I know.
we have
So
a
I'm pretty
goddess
humble.
online, and you want to start with just a mere mortal.
Well, I would love for you to start with questions because I feel like you are the person who I spoke to recently about archetypes. And I think it would be great to hear what you have to say and kind of add that in with Goddess Severa's wonderful journey.
So for the people at home, probably the thing that they want to know is what is an archetype? And archetypes were really pioneered by Carl Jung, who traveled around the world and found that there were universal threads between character types. And basically he went all around the world and saw that these kind of stories and the way we show up in stories or way characters show up in stories are kind of universal. And if we have a deeper insight into those stories, we can have a deeper insight into our own psychology. And since then, we've seen all kinds of people who have jumped into it. Like Campbell is one of the people there on the forefront of archetypal psychology. And off of that, we've also got depth psychology, which focuses really heavily on archetypes. And it's become a kind of a pop culture sensation within the framework of our society that people start using archetypes. People have a good understanding of what a Hercules archetype is or what a Aphrodite archetype is. And before we go too deep into the nuance of it, I would love to ask Goddess Severa how that archetypal narrative fits into the work that you're doing.
Thanks for that question. So when I started out, I didn't have any role models or anything. So I just was myself. But being my height, people had always, I'm 6'5" for people who don't know me. So being my height, people had always attributed a lot of characteristics to me. And it took a while to grow into being comfortable with that. And so if there was an archetype to say that I would be, it would be an Amazon. But that doesn't mean I don't want to just limit myself to a category, because I'm so much more than just like a physical being. So, but if I think of what an Amazon represents, I would want the best parts of myself to be strong, like physically fit, emotionally intelligent, capable, robust, dynamic. But the other parts of that are, empathetic. I'm a nurturer. So I'm not sure that I would just so easily fit into one archetype or another. But I guess to look at, I would hope to embody an Amazon in the truest sense of the form.
Thank you for that. I think one of the biggest things that people get kind of caught up with is what's the difference between an archetype itself and maybe a stereotype.
Yeah.
Do you ever come across that in your work, kind of understanding what the difference is and how that works for you?
Right. Like if I'm just supposed to be a strong woman, what about, well, I'm not like I'm not a bodybuilder, right?
Mhm.
So you would just look for things that you are not versus what you are. And I think
Mhm.
a full person is so many things that, like, why can't a tall person be maternal, right?
Right.
Like, does it just mean tough, tough, tough? Or, I mean, I think BDSM is interesting to me because it's not just a one-dimensional world. It's filled with the hard touch and the light touch. And so
Mhm.
that's what makes the hardness more powerful in a way, is if you have the flip side of that as well. So it's not that interesting if it's just one thing, hard, hard, hard. But it's the more well-rounded person that is more captivating, I think. That being said, it is a really good. Are you familiar with Maslow's
Hierarchy of needs?
hierarchy of needs?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I like to think of my life more like that. Beyond, so you have like the pyramid, for people who don't know it, like we have your basic needs: food, safety, social structure, like money, recognition. But then at the top you have self-actualization.
Mhm.
And for me, I think my journey more about not what role do I fit into, but how am I doing all around. Like, am I the best that I can be in all
Yeah.
facets of my life? And it's not a competition with anyone else. It truly is like, how could I do better? Where am I failing? That's ultimately where we all are, right? We're all on
Right.
this, we're all alone in this, in a sense, living our journey. There's many different paths as there are souls. So we're all just trying to figure it out. And so I like the hierarchy of needs, because it takes you away from trying to fit into a category and
Mhm.
more like, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Are you the best that you can be? Like, what are your flaws? Where can you be better? What are you doing well? Have you really exceeded to your best possible self? So that's what I like to think about.
I think that's very interesting because one of the things that I like to do with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, one thing before I say that, one of the things that people don't know is that Maslow actually got his hierarchy of needs from, I believe it's the Cheyenne or the Sioux. It was a Native American process. And the idea is that you can't truly have transcendence until your basic needs are met. And one of the
Right.
things that I find is that a person can't actually serve or go into submission if they don't have their basic needs met. You can't
Right.
self-actualize if you're hungry, or if you don't feel safe, if you don't have community and connection, right? It's really important for me to have subs that are capable of self-actualizing. But this
Yes.
also applies to, like you said, dominance, right? If a dominant doesn't have a place to stay, food, shelter, how can they take on a sub,
Right.
right? And step into that space and fulfill, the daddy Dom, which is an archetypal narrative, right? When we start talking about, or the king master, right? We see all these things, but people aren't able to really transcend these folds because they're not capable of stepping out of their own way. Is that something that you see in your work as well, Severa?
Yes, I mean that makes total sense, because how can you take care of other people if you can't take care of yourself, right?
Mhm.
To embody the archetype of whatever it is, your master, top, Amazon, whatever your heroic image is you have to really be on point. You have to be living your best life and be worthy of someone to bend the knee to you, right? And that means having everything to the best of your ability together. And that doesn't mean like sometimes life isn't going that great, but still, if you're going to top somebody, you better be able to put all of that aside and really be present and there for them. Like, you have to be a strong person, not just physically, but in all ways, to take care of other people. And that's how I look at doming, is taking care of somebody in a way.
Absolutely, because most people in the world are resource dating, right? They're dating somebody because they need a place to stay. They're dating somebody because they need help with the bills. They're dating somebody because they need connection. They're dating someone because they need an end, because they lack somewhere on the pyramid, right? So they're niche dating, they're resource dating. And so, but they're not stepping into true submission or true dominance because they can't self-actualize, because they didn't bring all these things into their space for themselves. When you're talking about dealing with maybe some of the subs in your work, how does that manifest? How do you kind of maybe use archetypes or this Maslow's hierarchy of needs to better suit what you do as a mistress?
So, well, having the pro-doming stuff is separate from, because then I really like, it's there for an hour and I just do the best I can with what I've been given in a short amount of time. But what I have two subs, that one I've been with for 20 years, the other for 6 years. And so what I really push them to do, one of them lost like 20 pounds and quit smoking. So just doing things like pushing them, like, what have you read lately? Like, why not to body shame, but like, you could be doing better, right? Like, why have you hiked today? Why are you drinking in the morning? What's going on? Tell me what's going on. Like, it's about, when you have a personal in your life, you really get to know them well, right? And so, especially through a long, if you're with them for a long time, there are ripples in the relationship and road bumps that you're going to hit. And so, I think that I'm fairly cushy when it comes to making sure that people live up to their own expectations. I don't want a loser. I want someone that I'm proud to be with. If someone's representing me, they should look good. They should be proud. They should be a good reflection of me, but not just for me. It's about for them as well, to be high achieving for themselves, so they'll have self-worth beyond just being on your own, regardless of, who owns you, or if you're in a relationship, or what your status in dating is. And so I think I would really push people just to be better, whatever it is.
It sounds like you're pushing or those in submissive roles around you to go through their own hierarchy of need by just being around you. Like, that's amazing.
Oh,
I love
thanks.
the hierarchy of needs. I did a whole paper on it. I love that theory.
Yeah, it really makes sense, doesn't it?
I wanted to talk to each one of you. I'm currently reading a book called The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. And in this book, he talks about archetypes as well. And he has several different archetypes that he lays out, and he identifies styles of seduction. And I'm going to give these characters or people that people naturally embody. Okay, the first one is the siren, and that is the magnetic, alluring voice and presence that promises to escape. That's like the femme fatale. Then you have the rake, the unapologetically passionate. It lives for desire and makes others feel irresistible. The ideal lover reflects back on what people crave and fantasize. The dandy plays with androgyny, mystery, and self-position. The natural, childlike playfulness, spontaneity, innocence. The croquette, hot and cold, keeps others chasing through delay and denial. The charismatic radiates confidence and certainty, drawing devotion. And the star, larger than life presence, captivating through spectacle. And last but not least, the conqueror, lives for the thrill of pursuit, thrives on challenge. So, with those personas and those energies, what of those resonate with you as a giantess? And in your journey, which one of those resonated with your style of seduction? It can be several as well. Okay, it doesn't have to be just one.
Right. So I haven't read Robert Greene, but I would say, and I don't just do giantess stuff. I would say that's just
Oh yeah,
like a little sliver of what I do.
yes.
But I think from your description, the ideal lover would be probably makes sense for me, because when I play, I really try to fall in love with my sub, and I try to have them fall in love with me. So that means for me, when I'm playing, I am completely present, and like really it's the closest thing to meditation, I think. Like I take my job really seriously. I study these people beforehand. I read and reread what they sent me about themselves, and I really try to get into their head, and then so that when we're together, it's the connection for me that's the most valuable high that I'm chasing, is that love, trying to capture that feeling of when you're totally intoxicated with somebody. So even when I'm doing something that's very cruel to them, I'm doing it like with total delight because I love the pain that it's causing them. And then but then I can flip back and forth between like encouraging them to do better and like being on their side, and then like flipping around and being terrorizing them. So I don't know what kind of lover that would be, but
The ideal lover.
The ideal lover, right? Definitely.
Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Does that
Absolutely.
It makes so much sense. It
Love
really
that.
does.
Have you ever had where you reread something that someone sent you and you've gotten that feeling like, I don't know if I can like essentially fall in love during this session? And if you have, like, how have you moved forward with that?
Oh, there are definitely some people that that I didn't feel that our vibe was quite right. So I think if you played a lot, you've definitely encountered people who are more challenging to play with than others.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can be a matter of maybe they're new, or maybe they're nervous, and maybe they don't articulate their needs that well. But having some time in person is better than reading, because when you meet someone in person, it's completely different, right? Because then all the nonsense goes away, and then they're just with you and present. And so that's when things get real. And so I have to play with a lot of people also that I don't particularly have any affinity to in the real world, right? Like, I play with Republicans, right? Right? And I do a great job. And I I fall in love with them and they fall in love with me. And that's because that regardless of, I find something likable about them and I try to make them feel good about I like to find value in them for something that they see in themselves, to encourage them about something that's good, and then something that I can find value with, even if I'm like, oh God. Like all sorts of characters have like walked through the door when I'm like, oh my God, this is not how he described himself. But you know what this work does is it teaches you empathy, right? Because you have to find the humanity in everybody that you might not like, but to find something good within them that you can both focus on. Because I really want to have a good time in that meeting, I don't just want to fulfill something for them, because then I might feel bad about myself. So I want to find something of value for both of us to coast on, something that's I really want this to be fun. The bottom line is it should be fun for both of us.
It should be fun.
Yeah.
It should be fun for both
Yeah.
of us. And it's an authentic experience for both of you.
This is entertainment. This is
Right.
and to be a professional, you just suck it up. Whatever it is, you suck it up, you put your own needs aside and deal with it. Put it away in a little box and don't think about it. So
It's probably like 5 years ago, but I don't remember the exact question, but I loved your response because the first thing you said was, I try to make everyone comfortable. So even if at first they come in like a little nervous, or I'm forget exact words, but I love because it's everything you're saying even now, saying that, like, like even like if I'm not really connecting with you, I'll still find something that is of value and is beautiful, which helps someone feel comfortable. So I love that it's just like you can see who you are in every interview prior, and
oh,
like
that's
even now.
good. I really try to do everything well, like, because I think that what my mentor Eva Terrell said, that when people are happy with their fantasy life, they're happier overall. So you have the ability to make the world a better place. Like, take some incel, take some like horrible little man, but who came in and maybe he's angry, but maybe you can maybe you have the opportunity. Everything is an opportunity where you could make this individual better.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's how I look at it. And you don't succeed with everybody, but it's a worthy pursuit, I think. Yeah.
I love that.
So let's take a quick pause and let everyone know that if you are enjoying the conversation, please go to Elevate and Dominate on Instagram, and also go to our YouTube and subscribe right now. Push the button and let everybody know around you that we will be putting up new episodes every other week on that platform as well. And go to dominate.com for more information if you want to connect with each one of the people here. And we will give you Goddess Severa's connection as soon as we are finished with this interview, so that you can reach her and possibly pursue your fantasies with her as well. I stated something about being a giantess, and I know that is just a minute portion of your career, but can we get into that? And I wanted to know, how did you kind of first discover that fetish? Because you did say you had to start everything for yourself. So how was that for you?
Good. So when I started in the scene, there weren't that many tall women. And so men with their height fetishes would come to me. And then, in fact, to this day, one of my best-selling videos is captured by Severa. which was me with the 4'11" guy. People love that video, no matter how many new ones that I've made. They love the tall woman, short man scenario, and I think men just really, it's a secret. It's a dirty little secret, I think, that men talk about, I want my woman to be small and, it should look like appropriate for today's, the man is supposed to be the big one, right? But men are secretly fascinated with bigger women, whether it's like a big, beautiful woman or a tall woman, because there is something fascinating about a tall woman because it's so much more woman, right? It's so much. It's like they're so big, and it touches upon early childhood stuff, maternal stuff, but not just that. It's like just hyper sexual to have more women. Like if you like women, then why not like extra tall women or extra big women? Because there's like so much woman. And some people can't explain it, but some people also describe it as early childhood experiences and their auntie and her watching her clip clop shoes and her stockings from underneath the table. And so sorts of things may have imprinted upon them. But so these people came to me, and then I would get higher and higher heels. So we're limited in person by our actual height plus heels. But in today's world, you can really go crazy with the computer stuff. And I have
I know.
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I just want to interrupt you a little bit, but I saw a video of you with a small man. Oh my goodness. I seen it. You had took him and just dropped them in your mouth.
Oh, right. My fans, I don't do any of that. I have a fan page on Instagram, Giantess _Severa. By the way, Instagram just took down my account again, my main account. They're always shutting me down. Yeah.
Oh, I was just on Instagram and looking at one of your profiles. I hope it wasn't that one. That one was so
Yeah,
cute.
my main one just got shut down again.
Oh
They
man.
always think I'm violating community standards, even if innocuous content. But anyway, so that page is still up, and it's with Giantess art, either pictures of me in the cities where I'm supersized, or these days with AI, it's so fun because
Going back to a little bit back to what you just said, I was actually having a conversation last night about like the idea of femininity versus masculinity. And I love, like, as you were saying that was my exact thought. I was like, well, there's more like femininity, and like, it's just when someone is masculine in their most of their lives, like I think they're magnetically drawn to a more feminine role. So to have someone that's like almost otherworldly with their feminineness, if you will, like I'm sure that's like a whole other reason why they're like, oh my God, this woman is obviously a goddess, but like what a goddess.
I mean, my eye is drawn to when I see a woman who's very tall or muscular, my eyes are drawn to her. Like this is exciting for me to see.
Yeah.
That's what I thought was interesting when I was reading the Robert Greene book. It was saying that people are bisexual, but because society has such a repressed view, we keep that under wraps. I know when I see a tall woman, and I can even remember the first time that I felt myself being attracted to a woman. I was like, I'm a trainer, so I looked at her body and I was like, wow, like, okay, I guess I like that. That's something that I'm attracted to. And it was nothing that I was attracted to before that. But when I started to kind of look at like her physique, and I was like, these are the things that draw my eyes, to her body. And then I look at myself and I'm like, well, that makes me want to be more like that as well.
Yes, yeah.
So I feel like it can be a fetish for men and for women,
I think that there's a thing before we go. We probably need to check that Robert Greene quote, because I think he means bisexual as in people are both sexes, not as in sexuality, right? Because when we're all born female, right? And then some of us become male after there's a certain amount of hormones or whatever in the system. And
Mhm.
but the males always were female, right? And every female has the potential for male. So in that way, we're bisexual.
Yeah.
I don't know if he means bisexual as in we're able to sleep with sexually
No,
both sexes.
I don't believe it's like that at all. I believe
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying, yes.
Yeah. It could be both, though. That could be an interesting twist.
I think there's
Yeah.
lots of people out there who would say they're not bisexual. But I
Yeah.
think it's interesting because, you know, when we start talking about who people are energetically, who people are on their essence, the biology of each individual, and how that plays in the psychology, there's a huge space to be able to go deeper into that paradigm. You know, each person has the potential for the opposite, yin and yang, right? Masculine and feminine. We have that polarity within us. It doesn't mean that we always act on it psychologically or sexually, but that potential is
Right.
always there. And so each man has the potential to be the mother archetype, right? Each woman has the potential to be the father archetype, right? We each have the opportunity to be able to embrace those narratives because at one point in time we were the opposite. You know what I mean?
Right.
So part of depth psychology really speaks to the idea that as we start moving forward, to be healthy, it's not only to embrace all the archetypes that are humanly possible from a masculine perspective, but also for the men to embrace both masculine and feminine,
Yeah.
right? And each woman to embrace both masculine and feminine. It's not because I'm male, I already have the masculine, right? You don't have anything yet, right? You have to, actively embrace both of those and then recognize what your shadow components are,
Mhm.
which is a whole different paradigm in and of itself. What are your thoughts about that, Severa?
Yeah, it's something I played with a lot, I think, because of my height. And so it was a tough journey in a way because I was 6'3" when I was 13. And men would, and just people being jerks would be like, well, what are you, a man or a woman? And so it was hard on me being young, shy, like to read and do needlework and ride horses, right? To be unwillingly thrust into this like gender debate in a way. And so uh, for when I was, I guess when I stopped playing basketball for a while, I just was like, you know what? I'm gonna embrace the masculine. And I shaved my head and I was a dyke and I wore flannel and
No flannel.
yeah. And so I eschewed everything that was feminine. And then I moved to New York City and I started working in the industry. And then I saw that, you know, femininity is actually more rewarded. And so then I got big boobs. That was one of my first purchases because I thought, well, no one will question my femininity now, but it never really was about looking feminine or boobs or not boobs. It's always about other people, right? It's about other people's ideas of oneself and not internalizing that as whether I'm actually feminine or not. And so that was my like kind of a personal journey, like to figure out, well, if I am masculine, let's try that. And one of the things I think that I'm most proud of is my journey in jujitsu because I did that competitively for 14 years in in an all male environment to see I'm going to put myself with the guys and see how does a tall shy girl do with like a bunch of guys trying to rip her head off and I held my own. I absolutely embrace both the masculine and feminine, like, and I think it's a valuable thing to be able to step into your power, wherever you perceive that to be. And for me, it is like physically masculine, maybe to lift weights or be able to fight. But it's also so much more than that too. It is being if we're talking like traditional values, like to protect, to provide for,
Yes.
that's the stereotypical masculine. But I'm also very feminine, so I absolutely.
Male, right?
What's that?
I think it's stereotypically male.
Right.
Right? You know, because I think that when we talk about masculinity, masculinity is a barometer by which a society assigns value to its male-bodied participants, right? That's like stereotypically, right? But and they're always like, oh, you're a go-getter and you're tough and you're aggressive and you're, you know, focused and you have, you know, you can go out
Right.
hunt and do all these things. But those are things that are not rewarded within the framework of interpersonal relationships with our society or in a relationship with your partner, right?
Mhm.
Masculinity is never how good of a friend are you, how good of a brother are you, how good of a son
Mhm.
are you,
Right.
right? And those are actually the traits that we should be embracing, but those are the ones that lie within the crooks of the shadow because nobody talks about it. So when
Right.
people talk about embracing their masculine is being a good brother to your sister, right? Being a good son to your mother or whatever it is. It's like showing up in the most ideal forms of these things because that's what we would see in the Odyssey. That's what we would see in these mythic traditions are people being the best versions of masculine, not rooted
Right.
in the patriarchal narrative of what's male,
Right.
right? And I really hope that in the future that people really start embracing that because there's so many people that come out here and like, oh, I'm embracing my masculine, and they're doing tropes of what masculinity is, or they're embracing their femininity and they're making kind of parody of the feminine.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? They're being what they think is female, what they've stereotyped as female,
Right.
right? To be the best, most idyllic version of what the feminine has been throughout history is what we should be aspiring to. And
Right.
I hope that we go in there. And lastly, I want to say, there's the biggest thing that people struggle with right now, and probably for the past 50 years, is presentation versus perception. You know, people want to present in a very specific way. They like, I'm presenting female, but how I'm being perceived is different.
Right.
You know, a person wants to present as male, but they're being perceived differently. And it's that cognitive dissonance that the mind has around that that's a really big thing. If you put on your best mistress stuff and came out and they're like, you're a sub, it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
I'm presenting as
Yeah.
this thing, but you're not perceiving. Now, is it me or is it you?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it's really easy to say it's them.
Mhm.
It's hard to go back in there and go back to the drawing board and say, hey, what was in my archetypal manifestation? Did
That
I
was
do all the
presenting.
things? Did I wear all the stuff? Did I say all the words? Did I do all the things?
Yeah.
Right? And then there's some people are just assholes. You know what I mean? So that
Yeah.
part too. So when we start talking about this within the framework of our society, archetypal psychology is really important because everybody is struggling with it at every moment of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
It's
the
subs as
results of
well.
personal.
They're
Good.
struggling with that as well, correct?
What'd you say?
I was like, I said when you're talking about it, we're talking about archetypes of like a dominant, but there are archetypes in of submissives as well, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, I mean, those are character type. There's a difference between archetype and character type, which we won't go into it,
Okay.
and behavioral types. But let's just say the dad is father is an archetype, and so daddy Dom could be an extrapolation of it. Mommy Dom could be an extrapolation of it. It's not an archetype, but it is a version of that, right?
Okay.
It can be rooted in that, right? But it may also have a thing. So within my teaching, when I do it, I do 4 archetypes in my thing. I do father, teacher, director, and king. And the way I frame it is the daddy is I'll do it with you. Teacher is I'll teach you or instruct you. Director is I'll guide you. And king is I'll demonstrate. Like those are the most basic archetypal narratives to try and bring somebody who, bring their archetypal narrative into it. Because when you look through history, what do fathers always do with, like, say, daughters or sons? Hey, let's go outside and I'll do that thing with you. I'll build the car with you. I'll throw around the thing with you. You know what I mean? Teachers, I can't do it with you, but I can instruct you. You know what I mean? Or directors, I'll guide you. Or, a person who leads by example, the king archetype, they can do it. They're capable of being the shining example of what something is. So when we talk about doms being archetypes or mistresses being archetypes, they can attach to it, but usually they are not an archetype.
It's just a part of who they
It's just
are.
a part. It's like a seed.
Right.
It's like a little seed. What do you think, Severa?
I really liked what you had to say about people misunderstanding or not really embracing all the different aspects of masculinity and what that means, like being the good dad or the helpful brother. I think that's what we're missing today.
Right.
After a while, though, I think with myself, just in terms of my image, is who is the audience? Why do I care? Like, if other people's perceptions of me isn't my business, right? And it's just so, it's a losing game to try to appeal to or explain oneself to everybody. I think at some point you just have to lead your life and just go about your business and not, like, I can't worry about how I'm perceived because I feel like I'm an outlier being in this industry. So, I just walk quietly in my own, just by myself, really, and not try to worry too much about what other people think. Even like what being a
But
dominatrix means, you know?
you have such a commanding presence. When I attended your class at DomCon, the one thing that you spoke about your journey, but the way that you just walked around the room and you have a way of looking into the people and allowing them to kind of, it was just like moments where you would look at people and it was like you and them. You have a way of bringing people in and really drawing people in with your energy. Do you feel like that is something that has been a gift that you use throughout your career? Because I was totally drawn in that session where you were talking about your 25 years. And then afterwards, I felt as if, you know, I wanted to know so much more about you. And I feel like that's a gift in how you draw in your subs.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. I'm actually not used to speaking in public. And so that was my first, I think my second class. That's my first class that I ever taught. And I did that with Jack, and that was helpful to have a co-presenter.
It was.
When I'm with someone personally, it's really important for me to connect. And I do that with my eyes. Yeah. Because that's how we see what's going on. Right. And you can tell when so much through someone's eyes, like in a session, when someone's closing their eyes, they're like, they don't want to be there. They want to escape. But I wanna see that you get it when I'm talking to you. I wanna be there with you. And that connection is, what else is there? If you're gonna have like an authentic experience, let's go through it together. Come on. Like, come on, let's do it. Let's go there. Let's have some fun. But that requires the other person to be present, right? And so that connection doesn't just mean talking. In fact, the best moments are quiet moments, or not filling the air with endless chatter, but letting pregnant pauses fill the air and that nervousness to build, and like then just like watching.
Mm-hmm.
So does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a looming destroyer
Yeah.
just walking around.
Maybe
That's how it
going
felt. It was like you would target someone and would speak, and it was just like they were totally drawn in. We were drawn into the whole
Oh, really?
situation, and you were giving so much good information on your career. It really made me, as far as your modeling career, that was interesting to me. Did When you started, did you start as a model, or was it just something that you were doing as you were pursuing your career as a dominant, as a dom?
When I was in New York City, I tried to, because someone that's this great drag queen said to me once, people are looking at you. That's money. That's money,
Mhm.
sister. That is money. So you got to make that work for you somehow. And I did some modeling in New York City just through like regular print and stuff. But people, what were they doing like with the 6'5"? At the time I had a buzz cut, like there was nowhere for me to go. But I knew that
Mhm.
the when people stared at me, that's money, right? And so at that time is when the internet just began. Like, do you remember when, well, I'm probably older than all of you, but when we first started out, there were just magazines to advertise. Um,
Back page.
yeah, so that's how we got our the information out of, but we'd have a one-page ad. But then with the advent of the internet, we could have like websites. And so that's when I started doing all that. My member website.
And you pretty much started your career in content creation, like before, like it was a buzzword to be a content creator, right? And you were really into fantasy. How did that begin? How did the career in content creating? Because I came in, I was so afraid to create content. I didn't want to do it at first. I kept telling her, "Nah, I'm good. I'll just watch you guys." But I look at your content and it's so creative. You do the fantasy, you're hunting. When did you know that this was going to be your cash cow? When I went on your page, you had 335 clips. And I was like, whoa. But you've created so many and you have so many different concepts. When did you know that that was going to be something that you could really make money at?
I just have always been myself, and that I didn't have a role model for how to do this. And so I'm just my crazy self. And I don't pay the models for my shoots. So it was just, and so I like produce, direct, star in, and edit like these videos with someone that I just met that day, usually. And so it's all like we could have a loose script, but I try to make a balance of what my participants, what are they good at? What do they want to experience? And
Hmm.
and then balance it with what do I need? And I really like to have my person in the video enjoy themselves because I think it shows. So I try to have like a process where I like get inside their head, try to figure out what makes them tick. And it's not easy either, because sometimes people want to wear a hood and they don't respond. And so
Yeah, it doesn't translate on camera
it's a
sometimes.
lot to carry a production. It's like very tiring to do this stuff.
Yes.
But I like to have fun, and I'm crazy, and I like to, like, if we're gonna make something, let's make it good. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Let's go. And then I'm very organized with my shoots. I have like a list of things that I want to tick off, but then you have to leave the door open too for like, well, let's see how this goes. Um,
Hmm.
and just, but mostly I want it to be fun. So whatever it is, it should be fun, and I want people to be present. And so I think sometimes I've been lucky and I've found good people to play with. And it's just like that in, regular play date, right? It's all about, it's hard for one person to carry everything, right?
Mhm.
But if you have a really good sub, you'll know it, because then it's like, it's on, right? Because then they're like, they have this energy too. And so when both people are clicked in, it's like, oh boy, what trouble can we get into? So it's not just me carrying everything, because that's like so boring to me, but finding a sub and like making them sparkle alive, and like, and really like, let's see who's in there, and like, what can we do? What can we do to you?
And speaking of sparkles in your eyes right now, as you were talking
Yeah,
about it, I was
yeah.
like,
No,
do you,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Do you make other films as well, like outside of BDSM? Because I did see the intro to the Blair Witch
Oh yes.
one, and I was
And
too scared.
the Severa Witch Project.
Yes, yes. I was too scared to watch more, but I was like, ooh,
You were too
okay.
scared, yeah, sure.
Yeah. It was
I
kind of, I was like,
I put a lot of
Blair,
time and
he lived in this
energy
house.
into that video, but nobody really purchased it as much as I was hoping they would. But it took place.
Oh,
Like location really matters to me. Like, I don't care about dungeons. What I want to be inspired by is like, where are we? What's the scene?
mhm.
Why am I doing this? Like, it's not interesting to me, just another like spanking scene. I want to know, but why? And who could you
Yeah.
be? And so for the Severa Witch Project was this abandoned farmhouse in San Diego that I had access to, and there was a container car.
cool.
And so this I had a trans friend, Jane Starr, who showed up as this person that wanted to have a party in this abandoned um farmhouse. And she went upstairs into the attic, and she opened up this box, and this, like, sometimes with videography you can just get it just right accidentally, because she opened the box and there's this shaft of light coming down from the window, and it was like a perfect, there was like some dust coming out of it, but that was
Mm.
like the spell. She opened the box, found this mask inside, and she awakened the Severa ghost, who then it always devolves from there into something, into some, like, what's worse than a B movie, like a B movie. So
But I think that's what makes the
Scared. I thought it
content.
was the
That's what
background.
makes them like it.
yeah,
I was like, no,
so
no.
then I tormented her for the rest of the movie, like, so I did my wrestling stuff, and like like just would, like, it led up to, like, it was trying, like, if you can shoot, like, was shot in like a day, of course, and so I had no budget, and so just yeah, just pummeled the hell out of her. She had like bruises on her belly afterwards
Yeah.
from which I'd never done before, but she was a good sport. Just through I was pretty tough on her. I look
Yeah.
nice, but I'm not.
It
I
was
think
good for
that's
that. I don't like scary movies. I was, the mask is there. Why did they not see the mask right there? And I was like, you didn't see that toy go across? I was like, no more. I
Oh,
was like,
really? Well, it's a good. I think you get a good value for that, because it was
yeah,
it's all real.
it was
It's all
good.
real.
Yeah, you can tell how just how
Orpheus.
enthused you are, and how like it was really cool
Uh,
to see. I was like, this is
and you know
like
what? What else I'm proud about that movie? I only wore a white nightgown for that shoot with the.
The whole shoot.
Yes, I didn't like try to be anything other than this ghost. Like, I didn't do a dom role or anything. So that's how I'm crazy and different. Is I
wow.
just get these ideas about what I should do, and I don't really care if anybody
But I think
like.
that's what you have full range creativity. You could do whatever you want to do in these, and to be able think of an idea and then go record it. Like that excites me now. At first, I was like, it's not something that I really want, because I thought that it had to be a certain way.
Oh
I
no.
thought that the content had to be a certain way. And the more research I did, and the more people I started to see, and I see people having fun, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do what I want to do.
Why else do
And now I'm
anything?
so much
Yeah.
more comfortable.
Yeah. You've got to be yourself, and you got to get
Yeah.
used to editing yourself and hearing yourself on camera and seeing how goofy you can look too. And just hearing my voice at first was terrible. But eventually you get more comfortable with just being in charge. And if I can give everybody a tip, it is to be in charge of your own editing and content creation. Just learn how to do it yourself, not rely on other people. Because the more that you can control your content, the more you can control the way you look, and cut out those clips where maybe my belly is sticking out, or this or that, or I don't look is the way I would like. And so it's just part of being a Dom is to control. So control your image. Don't let other people control it. You control.
Well, I hate to cut this conversation off because we've definitely gotten really deep, and I'm going to take a portion of this and place it on Patreon so that you guys can dig in deep. And we are so thankful for you, Goddess Severa, for coming here and sharing your wisdom, your energy, and everything. Your journey for our listeners is very important for us, for them to be able to reach out to you. So can you please give them, the information on where they can find you?
Thanks so much for having me. I really enjoyed talking to you all. My website is goddesssevera.com, and I'm on Twitter. That's my handle. Just got banned from Instagram, so don't try me there right yet, but hopefully I'll be back. But goddesssevera.com is my member website. I'm also on OnlyFans and Clips for Sale.
All right. And with that said, do either of you have anything that you would like to share before we are heading out of here?
I would love to say I would love to have you Ben and not to say like this wasn't this is obviously a great conversation, but have another like almost a lighter one and go more into like the fetishes that you maybe wish to explore more of, or that you don't really get a chance to explore more of, and like really get to know you more in that sense as well in the future. That would be amazing. But thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
It's so beautiful.
Thank
to
you,
speak with your
Orpheus. And thank
you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think it would be great to have you when we do get into a position where we are having live shows, have you do something. And will you be at DomCon in New Orleans?
Probably not this year.
Probably not.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, we will see you at your next event, and here in LA, hopefully we'll get to see you on the show in person. That'd be great.
Yeah. Have a good night.
And for all of you, all of our listeners, make sure you like, share, and subscribe on YouTube so you never miss an episode. Go to dominate.com for resources, articles, and events. And the uncut portion, go to patreon.com/elevate and dominate. Thank you again. And to all of our listeners, keep elevating and keep dominating. All right. Love y'all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Elevate and Dominate podcast. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. Remember, the journey doesn't end here. Stay tuned every other week as we continue to unravel the mysteries of dominance and submission with a twist. Don't forget to follow us on social media for updates and share your thoughts using hashtag Elevate and DOMMENATE. Until next time, embrace your desires, explore the unknown, and always remember, power is meant to be shared.